Christ as King. The gospel opens right away in the cross and the scene at Golgotha. This sets the scene to offer insights as to the kind of King our Lord is. We see Jesus crucified between two other men. One asks Jesus, "Remember me when you come into your kingdom." What a powerful moment. This man shows us extraordinary faith, that even in pain and the shadow of death, he recognizes in Jesus something more and something deeper. I think we all know what it is like to be remembered. And we know what it is like to be forgotten. In your own mind's eye, think of a time you were remembered. What happened? How did it feel? Maybe it was a phone call, a letter, a visit, a gift, a simple word. Maybe it was a surprise, or maybe it was something you were hoping for. Maybe it was as seemingly simple as someone recognizing you, looking you in the eyes, and calling you by name. In my South African context, that's when we say, "Sawubona." And the response is, "Yebo." Sawubona means, "I see you." The response, "Yebo." Yes, I am here. Regardless of what it was or how it came about, it, I'm sure, brought you some sense in your life, healing and wholeness. Is it fair? Is it true? We all want to be remembered. It means that we matter. It means that we belong, we exist, and our life is real. When we are remembered, someone else bears witness to all those things. In my own South African salutation, the very salutation, "Sawubona," I see you. "Yebo," yes, I am here, suggests that deeper meaning of, not until you saw me did you bring me into existence or acknowledge my existence. And so there is life, presence, and relationship in being remembered. And we know how important remembering is. Remember a couple of weeks ago we had the Feast of All Saints. It's in Mary. And we remembered by name those whom we love and who love us, and for those who will ever be a part of our lives who have gone before us. When we are remembered, it is as if our life is being put back together, because it is. That is exactly what is happening. We are being made whole. We even say it in our Eucharist. Do this to remember me. Despite the scattered pieces of our lives. Things done, things left undone. In the moment of being remembered, we are seen, recognized, known by name. We are alive. We are remembered. And so compare that in your mind's eye further to a time when you were forgotten. What did that feel like? Have you ever sat in a restaurant, maybe? I know there are moments I did, for waiting for somebody and they didn't show up. Or how about a person who looks at you and begins to speak, and then they realize they don't really remember your name, or they can't quite place where they've seen you before. Or maybe someone has forgotten your birthday, anniversary, wedding, or the death of a loved one. In those moments, we feel alone, uncertain, maybe even angry. There's a sense of helplessness, maybe. Questions and doubt arise within us. We are no longer sure of our place or whether we even belong. regardless of why or how it comes about, there is hurt, separation, the dismembering of the relationship and our life. No one wants to be forgotten or asks to be forgotten, whether we speak it out loud or not. Our cry, I think, is to be remembered. Every day we stand on the threshold between being remembered and being forgotten. We also stand on the threshold of remembering and forgetting another. Just like the thief, we want to be remembered, to have the many pieces of our life, I think, put back together. Our cry to be remembered is also a recognition, I think, and maybe even a confession of our dismemberment. We have been dismembered. Pieces have been scattered and lost. Sometimes through grief, shattered dreams, disappointment, regret, failures, the death of a loved one. Maybe even other times through our actions. Maybe our words. Maybe even our thoughts. Does our life become fragmented? I know that for me, I can easily then become like the thief. We take what is not ours. We dismember others' lives in an attempt to put our own, or maybe my own, back together. And it happens in all sorts of ways, and it happened to me just this other week when I was sitting in a meeting with somebody whom I just didn't want to share the same space with. Anger, resentment, criticism, judgment, envy, comparison, competition, gossip, bad-mouthing, perfectionism, the need to be right, busyness, excessive productivity, and efficiency. That's my mantra when I have my lattes. How are you doing the sin of busyness, man? When all my 6-year-old sometimes wants to do is play tag. So I look at our relationships. Maybe this week, let's try that. With all that's been going on. Wherever there is strain, chances are that you and me or another are being dismembered, torn apart. I know that's happening in our cities. And you can feel it. My muscles remember that because of where I grew up. Dismemberment. And I don't believe that is the life God gave us. I don't believe that that's God's dream or hope for us. That, for me, was not what it was like, I think, in the beginning, in the great words, the opening of Genesis. Where this divine God who stands outside of time and space, which some physicists will struggle to say God, so for those listening online, some authors would say quantum fluctuations. For me, it's immaterial, outside of time and space, and it thinks, and that I call God. And God looked at creation, at all of us, and declared it is very good. I think our Lord responds today, friends, to you and me. You will be with me in paradise. So our invitation this week, especially, wow, Thanksgiving's this week. Especially this week, as we celebrate turkeys together, family together, and that wonderful awkward conversations that we're going to try to navigate at the Thanksgiving table when family gathers, because we know even within our own families we are of spectrums of different faiths and political spectrums. And so you are in my prayers. How might we live with God through Christ as King this week? you and me. One of the many authors I enjoy reading, Austin Farrer, an English theologian and philosopher, his activity in philosophy and theology and spirituality led many to consider him the outstanding figure of the 20th century Anglicanism. He served as warden of Keble College, Oxford. Suggests that living with God is prayer. We must pray. Shall we live today and this week for ourselves, or shall we live it with God? The gift is that whether or not I live it with God, God lives it with you and me. So prayer is just living, being present with God, looking at God, regarding God's will, bringing our action into God's action. Prayer is a state of attention to God. In prayer, the principal thing is to stand before God with mind in the heart. Prayer is the soul on fire. And if you cannot pray, or you're struggling to pray, I will gladly meet you at the Grove and Forest for a latte, or at Greeters for their specials on PCH. And we can have a conversation about what it means to pray. And I invite you that prayer be our Advent adventure, being community in prayer as we approach Christmas season. So let the inspiration of Julian of Norwich linger with you today as you go and enjoy brunch after this 8 o'clock service. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom.